Hello there folks, Robin Nichols here with another Photoshop Elements tutorial for you. Now we're going to get a bit creative today. We're going to look at making a digital photo book, and it really is ridiculously easy in order to do that. Well, I say that now. Let's see how it goes. I've gone through a few pictures and I sorted out half a dozen pictures, or actually probably 10 or 15 pictures for or from an African trip. So I'm going to put them together in a little photo book and show you how it's all done. So you don't have to open them first off, but I've gone through these and I sort of edited a few and made them the colours a little bit brighter, etc., etc., just to get us started. But even if you get halfway through and you think, oh gee whiz, one of those pictures I've just loaded in looks a bit dull, you can still edit it while it's actually in the book. It's quite easy to do, and I'll show you how. So we've got a few pictures open. We need to go to the Create menu, and this is there. It doesn't matter whether you're in the Quick, the Guided, or the Expert mode. We just go to the menu and the second one off the cab rank there, just second one on the menu, Photobook. Now it always opens up here for some reason. I have to pull it into the screen. These photo books are using assets that are usually downloaded off the internet, so don't panic about that. In Australia we have two sizes available. It may be different in other countries. 297 by 210, which is A4. Okay, that's A4, and we have 300 by 300, which is 12 inches square, pretty much. So pretty much the same size as those old LP record sleeves, for those of us who can remember that far back. And as you can see down the bottom, it says, note, all photo books can be printed on your desktop printer. Hey, that is pretty good. So you can print them at home, which is great. So we need to select a particular style. I actually don't like any of the styles whatsoever, other than this one, monochrome. And monochrome's a bit weird to call it monochrome because it's not really monochrome, but it's more like a book as opposed to a scrapbook. A scrapbook, for example, has loads of extra stuff in it, and that's it's just not my particular bag. They've got little bits of artwork and stuff. And the thing is, you can actually probably remove some of these. You can certainly shift the artwork around if you want to do that, or you can add more from your graphics tab down the bottom here. So let's start away. I'm going to choose monochrome, and I'm going to put in 10 pages. So that's the number of pages that we need for this particular assignment. And it's simply because I'll be assessing your work here, student work here, and I don't want you uploading like 300 megabyte files because that's going to waste your time and my time, uploading and downloading. So 10 pages should give me around about a 30 megabyte file, something like that. And I don't want to autofill, so I turn the autofill with selected images off. Go away, I don't like that. And it's simply because I can guarantee you it's going to fill them in the wrong order, the wrong relationship between pictures on the left and the right hand page, and so on and so forth. So it's easy to do, so let's turn that and click OK. The next thing is a bit of a waiting game. We have to wait for it to generate the previews, and so it's going to have a look at what I've selected, and it's going to download these little fellas off the internet. Bingo, there we go. So I lied to you, it's actually not 10 pages. I suppose technically it's 11 pages because you have that title page. That's the front page. That is the most important page, folks. So we need to pay attention to that. So you can see here very easily, look, I don't need to really explain it to you, just read the page. It says click here to add photo or drag photo here. So if you click here to add photo, it's just going to take you into your file storage system. And you may, in this case, I've got a file here called Africa Book, and so I can select a picture and just double click it. I'll show you how it works. I've already got this picture open, but I'm just going to double click it, and bingo, my baobab tree lands slap bang on the front cover. How about that? That is about as easy as you can get. If only life were this easy. Now, what I can do is I can zoom in on it, so I can make it go bigger on the screen. I can just minimize this window here. That is looking pretty schmick, I think. Photo book here. Now, photo book title here, what does that mean? If I click it, if I click it, suddenly things go a bit weird. I need to probably shrink this down so we can see. Weird in the sense that a little green check mark appears plus that no entry sign, the little red no entry sign. So I can double or treble click it very quickly, and I've selected the whole of the words photo book title here. And I can put it in as Robin's Safari. I can't think how to spell Safari book. Just something, whatever. And I'm going to click OK. Right, that's pretty cool. Wasn't that easy? Your text here, so this could be something a little bit different. I could probably say, let's have a look here. This is probably where you need to zoom in a little bit just so you can see what you're doing here. On Safari in 2013. Something there. Let's just have a look at that. And that's very annoying because this little little check mark is right in the way there on Safari into. Okay, that works. And as you can see, if I can go back and just double or treble click again, I can choose or change the font. If I want to change the font, just choose a different funkier looking font, maybe a funky looking font. Have we got any funky fonts? Here I've got a very funky font here called Angelic War, Robin's Safari book. Anyway, that's a little bit over the top, Robin. I think we probably need to go back to something slightly more conservative. I always use a font called Myriad Pro, simply because it's a sans serif font, and that means, there we go, there's Myriad Pro. That means that it doesn't have any curly bits on the bottom and the top, so it's quite legible. Second reason I use it, it comes with a huge range of styles, so I can get Myriad Pro italic, light italic, bold italic, semi-bold italic, extended, and so on and so forth. So in order to make a book look really funky, it's a very good idea to be able to change the styles on the font, but not the font itself. So for example, I can now change the word Robins to light, and then click OK. So now you can see here, if I zoom in, let's just make that go a little bit bigger. If I zoom in, you can see, you've added a little bit of style very simply by using the same. It's all Myriad Pro, but this is light and this is bold on the right hand side. So very simple to do that. All right, I'm just going to click it again. I'm just, once I start doing these things, I find it very hard to stop. And again, this is a little bit fiddly because I'm doing it on a very small screen here, but I might select the words Safari Book, and I might say, look, hey, let's make that red. Okay, so you see where I'm coming from? We can just mess around with the text. The really cool thing about this, folks, and this is going to save you heaps of time, is the simple fact is, because they're put into these preset sentences or blocks of text, they already line up. I teach a lot of bookmaking class using companies like Blurb and Momenta, where essentially you have to line up your own text. And of course, in this class, you'll be doing a business card. And it is very important to have the text lining up. And you see it perfectly lines up with the line of the front cover photo there. And that's, kind of basically does the job for you. But when you're actually physically making a business card, you've got to pay attention to that and make sure the text lines up. You can also see down here we have a number of layout lineup options down the bottom here in this particular mode here, which is kind of cool. All right, enough talk, Robin. Let's go on to pages 1 and 2. And again, another nice feature of this book is it shows you pages 1 and 2 side by side, because then you can very simply access the photo bin and you can see the relationship between the photos, obviously, on page 1 and the page 2 photos. And I'm just going to do this very quickly. I think we need more cats on the right hand side. Let's put Pussycat there. Deliberately, oh, that's a bit weird. What's happening there? Oh, Robin, what have you done? Okay, and we, oops, if in doubt, Control Z. And we might put in just one more cat up here. Now, so we've got a double page spread here. That's looking pretty good. What can we do to fix this up? Well, if I right click the elephant photo here, you can see I can do things like rotate it. Obviously don't want to do that. I can rotate it left again. I can position the photo in the frame. Okay, what does that mean? So if okay. So you can see for some reason it's enlarged the elephant photo, and that's why he's missing or she's missing her feet. So I can push it up, or indeed I can shrink it down a little bit. So there is a slider available to allow us to actually basically to get the picture to fit the frame. Now the problem is all cameras have different shaped sensors. A Sony camera is different to a Nikon camera, which is different to a Canon camera, and so on and so forth. So if Adobe makes one particular window frame here and think, well, that's sort of 35mm camera shape, isn't it? It's not going to fit your Panasonic camera, or it may not fit your Fuji camera. And that's why we've got the ability here simply to zoom in or zoom out. There are a couple of symbols up here that allow me to do this flippy thing. Should I want to do that? That's a little bit easier than maybe right clicking. And simply, if I go OK, simply double clicking in the image brings that up. So I don't even have to right click it, I just double click it. So back over to the line on the right here, obviously you need to bring her down like that. There she is. This one's having a good old demonstration of the fangs. That's pretty good. That's looking good. Okay, so I'm happy with that page. But I'm thinking this line here on the left hand side, the lioness, she was, from memory, was photographed. This was just about 6 o'clock in the evening when it was just about to go dark. So I'm surprised the picture came out at all. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to say OK. If I right click, I can choose to edit. Okay, I can choose to edit, and it goes straight into quick menu, quick edit. Fantastic. So I'm going to think, well, I need to actually probably bung up the exposure a little bit. Up, Robin, up. There we go. Something. Oh, look at that. She is beautiful. Or he or she. It's a young male, isn't it? Yes. And I think that's probably pretty good. So then I can go back to creations. Hopefully, go back to creations. And so the newly brightened edited picture, wow, it's just gone completely out to lunch here. So I need to shrink it down a bit. That's weird, isn't it? You just shrink it down. And what we've done here, in fact, I'm going to go Control or Command Z a couple of times just to reposition it. I need to double click it and either bring it down to size, or I might have to right click that and put it in. So you see what happened? It's kind of resized. It's a fit frame to photo. Right, if I fit the frame to photo, it expands the frame. So I need to position the photo in the frame. So let's go here. You can see obviously way too big, so I'm going to bring it down in size. That's it. So it's a little bit fiddly, but now she's, or he is much, much brighter. There you go. I think you can actually just grab hold of the corner things and you could actually shrink it down like that. Yeah, so you've got these little arrows or these little handles on the corner. Yeah, so something like that. Or maybe pull it up. So it's not, how can I describe this? It's not a completely foolproof process, but what they're doing here is they're concealing some amazing layer-based editing simply by just allowing you to double click, or as I say, it's shown here, right click and choosing some of the pop-out menu options here. So it's an amazing function because it's allowing you to do some very advanced stuff without actually knowing what you're doing, which is not always a good idea, but in this case I think it works very, very well. Okay, I'm clearly going to run out of photos here because we've chosen, or I've chosen a couple of templates here which have got an amazing range of pictures on them. There's my bird in a tree photo, and we might use the baobab up here. We'll put the baobab. Now, if you decide that you don't like the layout, very simple. On the right-hand side at the bottom, you've got the layout button. Hey, very easy. So I can think, well, now I'm going to choose, we've got 3 photos. Maybe let's just try 3 photos. I'm going to go for that one. I just simply double-click it, and it put 3 photos on each of the double pages. I can go down to, have we got a 2-photo one? We've got a 2 photos. There's a 2 photos. So I could simplify it a little bit more and just say we'll go 2 photos. So clearly I need to go back and edit something here because something's happened to my baobab tree. Help. Alright, something like that. Click OK. So even while we're working, we can just change the page layout. How cool is that? Very, very good. Let's move on back into the pages, back onto this layout, and I'm going to say, maybe we're going to go layouts and just say 1 per page. So I'm going to go back up to, here's 1 per page, and I'm just going to have photos here. So it's just a photo on each page. And this is probably why I like this particular template, because it's simple, and it just allows me to very simply drag and drop, and I don't have to contend with layout arrangements that have already been done, okay, in the templates. There we go. Go back into my pages menu. I'm going to go back to the next page, and again I'm just going to hit the layouts, and I'm going to hit the single page. This time you can do something like this. What it's doing here is applying either title, or you can just put some text in there. Don't think I like that. Don't think I like that. But I think I'm going to go with that. Again, similar to the previous page. Go back to my photo bin. Okay, go back to my elephants. Pop an elephant in there. No. And I think we had a second elephant somewhere. Okay, now we've got the Jeep here. I think this is going to be the final one here, so pop the Jeep in there. Alright, so let's assume that we've had enough. That's the end of it. How many pages? We're up to page 8. We've got a couple more to go on there, but you can fix that up later. We've got also a graphics tablet. Okay, a little tablet or little graphics tab, and that allows me to put, funnily enough, graphics into the image. How easy is this? You can just color the pages. Ooh. Okay, so you can literally just drag them and drop them onto the pages. Here's a good one. This is going to be a beauty. Bright orange, no. So, but you know, black is very nice. Now, do be careful with black, because if you've got a lot of black in the photo and you've got a black background, what's going to happen? Of course, the black is going to bleed into the photo, or the photo looks like it bleeds out of the black area. So just do be careful about, you know, liberal dosages of black. Here's one that's like a textured paper background. And we have frames, and of course, if I want to jazz this up a little bit, I can drag the frame onto the photo and then let go, and again it just applies this black edge frame. And a black edge frame, in this case, works very well with a little drop shadow, works very well on a dark picture. Here's another tip. I can put a white edge frame on this, which is going to look perfect if we have black paper. Let's put black paper on the background, bingo. So now you've got a nice white edge which holds the picture in the frame against that black background. Going down to the bottom, and again we have graphics. Again, I don't really like any of these graphics, but it's just something that you guys can decide on yourself. If it's a fun project, if it's a kid's project, if it's educational, you can probably do that. I don't know why that's happened there. There we go. And it's repositional, and I think you can, of course, probably edit the layer style, yes, and you can do all sorts of stuff with this. But I generally don't think I want that there, so I'm going to have to go Control Z. And there it is. Now, one thing before we go, have a look at the advanced mode. What the advanced mode is actually allows me to have a look at the layer palette, and basically it shows you what we're up to here. So here we are in advanced mode. So you might look at that and your head explodes with fear. Go, my goodness, what is all this stuff here? Whoops, what is all this stuff here? Here's the layer palette. So very simply, you've got text frame and text frame and text frame. So you've got title here, and text here. So that's 3 text layers. So if you want to, you can fiddle around with them, you can turn them off, you can even just drag them to the trash can and delete them if you want to tidy things up a little bit, or customize it. Text frame here, so you can just delete those. If you've got nothing typed where it says title here, it's not going to print. But I kind of sometimes like going through some of these things, so I'm just going to get rid of all this sort of stuff. Now we've got a gradient here. What's the gradient? Doesn't actually show up here. We've got basic white. Okay, well that's just the photo sitting on the deck there. What's this one? That's the photo sitting on the deck on the left hand side. We've got another gradient. I'm not quite sure what those 2 gradients are, but they must be part of it. And we've got the background. So you can see where we're coming from, and it's very easy then to get in and tinker. It's like lifting the hood on your car, get in there and tinker with the spark plugs or what have you and fix it up. But it's a fantastic little app. Now when you finish, just choose Save. Wow, and save it to a place on your computer that you can go and find it again. So I always say, look, stick it on the desktop, easiest place in the world to find it. All right. You can see a bunch of junk on there already. Save it on the desktop. Very, very important though, please pay attention. The last thing I'm going to say here is save it as an Acrobat PDF file format. Do not save it as a PSE. If you save it as a PSE, I'll show you what happens. It saves all the individual elements and puts them into a folder. And that's not a bad thing. However, it can be a little bit confusing, and I'm going to go, it's taking a couple of seconds to save it. And then I will save it a second time. Let's go save again. I'll save it a second time. In fact, I probably have to go and delete that original one. But in order to show you, I just need to, let's just move Lightroom out of the way for a moment. I need to show you this folder. This is what it's just created. Untitled 10. Here is the PSE file. Now, a PSE file is 1.3 kilobytes. It is a tiny, tiny little file. Completely and utterly useless to anybody who has not got Photoshop Elements. So what the PSE file is, it provides all the information about the book, i.e. we've got a picture on the left, we've got a picture on the right, we've got 2 pictures on the page, and the background is black, etc., etc., etc. So it gives me the instructions. The raw materials, the building blocks, the bricks, are in the folder. And here is the folder, and it's called Untitled 10.1, and these are just the pictures, or the pages rather, these are the double pages, and they're saved as PSD or Photoshop files. So again, I can probably go and open one of these using Photoshop or Photoshop Elements to have a look. But on their own, they don't constitute the book. So you need both of these in order to have the book. I'm now going to delete those, put them in the recycle bin, because I don't want them anymore. Okay, and I'm just going to look in here. I'm just looking at this page here, and I'm thinking, gee, I actually want to change this a little bit. I want to add some white borders. So go to the graphics department. I might just see what happens if I just drag a white border on there. Is that going to work? No, we may probably need to, I think it should work if we go to here. Why is that not working? Maybe because we've got the thing set there. I need to. Is that going to work? There we go. Well, that certainly does work. I want a thinner white border. Or maybe the border was so thin. Yeah, I think that's probably so thin it doesn't show up. Let's go up here and choose a thinnish white border. This little fella here. How's that? Fantastic. So I'm going to drag those 1, 2, 3, and 4 onto there. Fabulous. That looks a little bit classier. And I'm going to click Save. Okay. And what it's doing here is kind of interesting. It's automatically saving as a PSE file. Again, I've got those PSE files, so I'm going to delete them. Don't want them at all. I want to go into whatever mode I'm in here. So let's go back into advanced mode. and try this again. So we may well have discovered a little bit of a glitch here. If I go and then click on save, yep, again it's saving as a PSE file. So it's saving as the file that's actually no good to anybody. And as you can see, it's saving them like this. Maybe I need to go and choose save as, and this time, yep, I need to choose Acrobat PDF. Alright, so do be aware of that. And I've noticed this in previous versions of this program. When you choose save, it just keeps saving it as, and you can see here on the desktop, where is it? Somewhere on the desktop, I've got a folder that just says untitled, or it hasn't even shown up yet, which is no good whatsoever. So we need to save it as a PDF, and I'm going to click on save, and it's just going to chug through here, saving page 4 of 6. And the nice thing about PDF is, and if you don't know, I mean everybody knows what a PDF is it cements all those bits, the text, the frames, the artwork, the photos, the page layout and the page background, plus of course the order of the pages, as a single document. Okay, so you can't change it. Once you've made the PDF, it's set in concrete. Here he is, here's Mr. PDF. If I right click on it and choose properties, you can see this is 11 megabytes, so it's not a really big file. If I double click on it, of course it goes off and finds Acrobat Reader, which is the freebie reader that every computer user on the planet has, I hope. There we go, fantastic. And I can scroll through page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5. One thing before I go, which is well worth looking into, is you may find that when you view it, the page display is not set correctly. So you may want to, for example, have show cover page in 2-page view on or off. So at the moment in this mode, you can see there's page 1, which is a cover, and then there's the left-hand part of a double page. So that's incorrect. I'll go back and say page display, please, have show cover page in 2-page view. So there's the cover page, and then we go on to the double page spreads, so on and so forth. Okay, fantastic. And that very simply is how you make a photo book. It really is quite a simple process, and the results are really quite impressive. Look forward to seeing what you're going to send me.